10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello, everyone. Lee Kraft here, the Monday Morning Racer, and this is the Competition Plus Power Hour. Yes, as you can see, coming from a different studio, as announced last week, no longer with strutmasters.com, not working there. Thank you to Strutmasters. Thank you to Chip Lofton for all they did for me. But we're going to continue to move forward, continue to talk about drag racing, and I'm not going to do it alone. I'm going to do it also with you all out there and my co-host, Slammin' Sam. Sam, how's it going, man?
It's not Slammin' Sam. This is the last day of Pedro. Last day of Pedro. Yes, and for anyone that doesn't realize and what's going on, yes, it's the last day of Movember, as I call it. And later tonight, I will officially drop a post on my page of why Pedro and I have gone through 30 days of a long month of November. But man, it is good to be back here on the Power Hour, talking some drag racing, talking about, pro mods heading to Florida, because Florida just does not stop. I don't think I'm going to say it. There's no rules in Florida, Lee. I mean, if we're being honest here. So excited about that. Going to be some great racing here going on this weekend. But again, back in the stable here, talking a little Competition Plus Power Hour news. So, I mean, yeah, man, what do you got for me? Where do you want to hit on first, I should say, I guess?
Well, honestly, I do want to talk on, let's say you're not able to get to the drag races right now. Let's say you're not able to get to Florida and enjoy the snowbirds and all that does happen in Florida, or maybe you're not able to participate in any other racing and you got a motorsports itch. Now, it might not be going to the track, the drag strip, but if you'll go to competitionplus.com, if you'll go to the Facebook page and the Twitter, you can find the Virtual Hot Rod Association and participate in it on Competition Plus. A lot of fans have enjoyed that. You can vote for qualifying, vote through eliminations, and we'll see who comes out a winner through the off season in, well, what essentially is a fan popular vote. So if you want to participate in that, check that out. I think that's pretty cool, Sam. You kind of pass the time through the off season and get some voting in for your favorite drivers and keep those guys in the news. Speaking of the news, later on we're going to have Jeff Arend on, and he might have some juicy details for us.
Who is this mystery character you speak of?
Right, we haven't had him on in like 2 weeks. Yeah, we got him on tonight though as our insider.
Hey, I gotta do my homework first. To all you guys out there, ladies and gentlemen, please like and share this. Let's get this out to the masses. Again, this is your late night drag racing show. So if you have not already done it, I got 3 selections here for tonight, but go ahead and pour yourself. Don't turn this off, but go overhead and pour yourself a nice beverage. As some point tonight, Lee will mess up and we'll all have to take a drink. But yes, please do that. If you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, you guys can always email us at powerhourcp@gmail.com. Yeah. So much to talk about, Lee. Get on, subscribe on YouTube. I mean, just so much to talk about. But here we go. Let's just dive in, Lee. Dive in. Head first.
What about this news that Stevie Fast Jackson has said goodbye to the Shadow?
Yeah, it was for sale. I mean, which is very, very sad need. He announced. Well, it's funny. That announcement actually came while he was flying over, going to, what race was that? Wasn't Vegas. It was actually when he was headed to Brainerd. I think is when that news officially, when that news officially broke. Yeah, he was flying over Brainerd. I remember that because I was looking at a picture, and Scott Malpass, who's probably in the comments already, was like, hey man, did you see the Shadow was going for sale? And I'm like, no, I did not, because I was literally just looking at Stevie Fast Jackson flying over Brainerd. So hey, it sucks. I mean, it's one of those cars. It's one of those cars that forever will have its own kind of unique personality. I mean, and whoever owns it, you pretty much are stepping into something that if you take it out where he was out, it better do good.
That's right.
I mean, it just has to.
And you can't paint it. It can't be painted.
No.
It's got to stay the same. It's got to keep the look. Maybe you can't go with Shadow because that's Stevie thing, but everybody will know that was the Shadow. That was Stevie Jackson's ride. And look, hey, Sam, Pat, look, nothing like a margarita and power hour. Folks, enjoy it however you want to. And Lonnie, I want to say it's glad to have you along for the live stream. He says he usually watches the replay. Thank you for doing that. Great to have you right here. And Drag Racing Central chimes in and says, I think Stevie is either going funny car or NPK. I definitely think funny car is in his future because remember, he did hop in a alcohol funny car a couple years ago in the Midwest Drag Racing Series and did the swapping of the feet in those floppers.
Yeah, I see that. The no prep king stuff, I mean, you got to remember, Stevie is a grudge racer. So, I mean, I don't think you'll see him in a full-time no prep stuff, but I think that entices him. I mean, that's his kind of racing. That's his style, right? Not only that, it's the trash talk and the smack talk that you get out of that. And I mean, I would like to see a lot more of that in our beloved NHRA, but I understand that there's stipulations and stuff like that that some people just really don't understand. And I think as we continue to involve NHRA racing and these racers like Clay Milliken and, all these other names, I just use him because he's very, out there about it. But as they start interacting more with these no prep guys, I think you're going to see him at the track more, and you're going to see, a lot of different avenues. But like I said, Stevie Fast Jackson, I mean, he loves his pro mod. I just don't see him going no prep racing full time.
I don't see that either. No, I think Stevie, we're going to see him eventually in a nitromethane burning funny car, just like Chad Green has took that journey, and Chad Green Motorsports seems to become even more of a funny car operation than a pro mod operation. It's going to be interesting to see how much pro mod Chad does next year. In fact, I believe he will, and I believe he'll continue that nitrous combination. But he's taken that journey. I think Stevie would take that journey as well to some degree, though. I don't think you're ever going to see someone like Stevie or Lyle Burnett or some of those guys ever get out of the door car scene completely. They'll still dabble in it. But hey, it'd be cool to see Stevie, show up to something like a Corey Stamper promotion at a Darlington Dragway back at the track and duke it out with a Lyle Barnett and Jason Harris on the no prep scene. That would be cool to see it happen. And speaking of some cool things, again, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, our guest, Dom Lagana, we're going to have him on as our first guest, and then the 5-time Pro Stock Motorcycle champion, Matt Smith. We will have him on later this evening. So some good guests tonight too, Sam.
Hey-yo, Matt Smith. Hey, I'm going to say this again. Hey-yo, Matt Smith is back on the show, and we had them a couple of weeks ago, and he said, man, I'll come back if I win it. So it's nice to, it is nice to have that. But I want to know, you skipped over this pretty quick, and this is a great comment. What did he say? Nothing like a margarita and power hour. What kind of margarita? I've started to venture a little bit into those leagues.
Okay.
And, they're not too bad. A nice meal, so.
Margaritas are good. Margarita's good. We're sponsored by Bojangles tonight, so thank you, Bojangles.
Oh, you're sponsored by Again. Anybody out there that wants to make or have a drink of choice for the power hour, you got any plugs, any pull? This is our moment right here to plug it. So beginning of the show, we plug it and we drink all day. So I'm just going to say it. If you have any opportunities and you want to be a part of the power hour, please let Lee or myself know, or let Bobby Bennett know ASAP. Because, man, what we are planning to do for the 2022, you got to remember, it's going to be 2022 race season.
2022, that's right, 2022.
2022. I'm just going to call it the year of the double dub.
He mentions here about getting Mr. Chad Green, on the show. Well, you know what? We'll have to see if we can reach out to him and get him on the show. That would be an interesting conversation with the moves he's made and what his experience has been from the door slammer world to the nitromethane world. And I don't know, Sam, if we can't get him on here, maybe we can get him on your podcast or mine on Thursday night on Between the Slicks, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and your In the Groove podcast. So there's plenty of outlets to talk to these drag racing personalities.
Man, I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to take this. In the Groove podcast right now is kind of, we're laying down new rubber. We're laying down a new foundation right now, okay?
You had to scrape? You had to do some scraping?
We had, for the circle track people out there, we had to take the blade to the track. We thought that the angle was a little too steep, guys were taking the top side too high, go over, or for you drag racing people out there. I mean, it just looked like Freddy Krueger just kind of came down. So we're doing a little scrape, a little track maintenance, but I'm letting you know this. Couple of weeks here, boy, oh boy, and to you females out there, girl, don't want to, piss anyone off. Gotta be politically correct in today's society.
Gotta cover all angles.
But, yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're gonna be taking that off. Yeah, so be prepared for that. I think Lee, you got some silly season news that may be coming out sometime soon. So who knows? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Right.
Jeff Wren might have silly season news.
On my news, the big news for me, I do hope maybe I'm at PRI and can say something and find the right time, right place to do it. And look, from PRI, I know you're going to be there, and I'll be there.
I don't know yet. Oh. Some silly season news may keep me from PRI, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, either way, if that's not the case, or if it is the case, if you're there, I'm sure people can expect from us a PRI pit walk. And if you're not there, I'll still try to go live and give a glimpse into the world of PRI, because it is a trade show in the sense that it's media, drivers, owners, the people who provide into the aftermarket scene. It is not to open to the general public. So sorry for that, guys, but we'll try to give a look-see into it. Lead to the 4th JFR seat. No, I think Austin Prock has got me beat there by a long shot.
I don't think they can make a seat for Lee and his beard. You thought I was going to say something else. Gotcha.
You got me. Look, if they can make a seat for Buddy Hole and his beard, they can do a seat for me and my beard.
Well, you're just taking shots at people tonight. I like it.
Hey, look, I'm going to tell you what. Buddy is one of those characters out there in the NHRA, a rookie, and you may look, maybe he didn't have the greatest of years, but he did qualify for the U.S. Nationals, and he did show up to a lot of races, and he was out there in the pits, and his story is one that I really think the NHRA needs to pay attention to, because the man came from nothing, and now he is a successful businessman with many different brands to the point where he can go top fuel racing. Talk about the American dream. That needs to be hyped up. That needs to be played up. That story needs to be told in the world of NHRA drag racing, because I don't know of that story happening in F1. I don't know of that story happening in NASCAR. I don't know of that story happening in many other motorsports, and frankly, in many other areas of life. You've got someone living out the American Nitro dream, and I think that should be showcased. And look, I get it. Results are important for those type of stories being put out there in the forefront, winning rounds and making good passes. But there are some stories of just getting to the place to have the opportunity to do such a thing that it should be showcased, I think, for sure. So if you haven't looked up Buddy Hole, check him out, guys. Oh, Sam. There we go, Sam.
All right, Lee. So you got to sign Alex Laughlin. Is that the pro mod? No.
No. So I'll explain, Sam. So right over
that looks like
this way,
it looks like a lawnmower. That the little one.
Yep.
Looks
so right
like a
over
lawnmower.
this way, that is the first Alex Laughlin Power to the People campaign. I did pay to have the name on the car. Got an interview with Alex. Alex has always been very good about that. Alex was one of my first interviews ever, actually, at the Southern Nationals when I took a camera with me. So yeah, Monday Morning Racer has been on a pro stock car. And then I love my Southeast Gassers. They do these great posters at every event. Actually, you can buy a whole set of every poster from the events, but they got these old school themes and vibes to them with those great gassers. And I get one every time I go to a Southeast Gasser event. Love them, man.
No, that's epic, right? I think we honestly, I'm going to say this before we bring Jeff on, and then maybe this is a great way to, bring the old schooler back on, especially with Jeff Arin. Like I said, again, the old schooler, he's not listening right now.
Oh, he is.
Yep, there he is. You just got the sign that he is paying attention. But
Yes.
bring back the old classic calendars. You know what I mean? I get it. We have these cool calendars nowadays, or just per race. You know how cool it would be for like you said, to get one of those posters from every NHRA race you went from, and just remember, hey, this year or at this race 5 years ago, this race 10 years ago, and maybe it's 10 years ago. You know what I mean? This person, these 4 people were the winners, and put them on an old poster, but then you can have that poster around, because that kind of stuff grabs people's eyes. If you look at the trends in today's society, we're going back to, I hate to say it, well, not when Jeff Arin was, in his 30s, but when other people that were drag racing were in their 30s, you know what I mean? So him or Bobby, or, when they were in their 30s, it was I don't even know. I think we were just probably being born, but let's be honest. Just these old posters, the old vintage stuff really catches everyone's eyes. So I honestly think that we should go back to that. Sorry, Lee. I had to catch up to you throwing shade on everybody tonight. Why not pick a California guy?
Okay, well, we're going to take a break and bring on the young Jeff Arin, who is still very much capable to do all that he does and can do, and hear from him on good, juicy inside information. If you have not got your Competition Plus apparel, ladies and gentlemen, you need to check it out from the swag that is Competition Plus. Also, old school tees like Scotty Cannon, and even I saw recently Ed the Ace McCullough swag. You need to check out Competition Plus apparel.
Get your CompetitionPlus.com apparel today. Whether it's our nitro burning funny car design or the vibrant door slammer design, we have the swag to show you are always in the know. Get yourself a hat too. And we know not everyone enjoys wearing a mask, but if you must wear one, at least wear a good looking one. Check out the new CompetitionPlusApparel.com for the latest from the place where you have trusted for your news on the internet for over 2 decades.
Jeff Arin, glad to have you back, man. Where you been?
Looking young.
Hey, a few times past my nap time, so slept right through it.
He's like, look, Wednesday is my nap day, gentlemen. I can't come on Wednesday. We can't do that.
Exactly.
Right. Well, it'd been nice for a heads up, but I know you two guys, show up now. You show up 5:59, 56 for the show. Before, you guys were on 20 minutes before, hanging out.
Right.
This routine.
Hey, what happens in the back room stays in the back room. You don't bring that on the show.
Yeah. This is back room.
Okay.
Look, I definitely miscalculated my now hour drive from work. I used to live 50 yards from work, and I just stayed in my office. So yeah, the hour drive I did not calculate right whatsoever.
Nice. You actually work?
No.
Yeah, neither do I. Join the club.
No.
You guys
Everybody's trying to be like you.
Talk about some rumor stuff I've heard, or what do you want to do?
Hey, juicy rumors. Everybody wants to talk about, they call it Toolbox National, silly season, whatever else you can throw on it, of the wildness of people transferring positions. And Jeff, you've been doing this for a while. We know you're in the know, so clue us in.
All right, so we'll go with these as just being rumors, even though some are probably true. Obviously, this one hasn't been really a big secret, but AJ and Brian Houston going over to Doug Coletta's. Almost everybody that AJ who has driven for AJ has won a championship, going back to Dixon or Brittany or Dell. So, I'd love to see Doug win a championship. He's been doing it for a long time. Excellent race car driver, cool guy. And I think with the resources at Coletta's and with AJ and Brian, it could be a reality next year. So everybody better watch out. I've also heard that Jake McCullough may be going over to Coletta's as well, maybe working on Langdon's car. Of course, these are all rumors. What else have I heard? Salinas, maybe Rob Flynn going over there, not 100% sure. I've heard that Tommy DeLago is going over to help Mike Green on Justin Ashey's car. So that'd be pretty cool. Just, a lot of little things I've been hearing, here and there. Hopefully some of them come true. A lot of good crew chiefs out there that don't have jobs. And, like to see my buddy Aaron Brooks be out there with a car. Obviously, Aaron and I are good friends, but this is a guy that can build a race car. He can weld it. He can work on anything on the car. And obviously his top fuel cars, or funny cars for that matter, they run amazing. And, Aaron, he lets it all hang out there, and he can make some great runs. And as we witnessed by Justin Ashey a couple of years ago, Rookie of the Year, and, could have won a couple of races, won one for sure. And a lot of fun to see that kind of stuff. So that's about all I got. But do you guys got any questions at all or anything you want to talk about?
Oh, well, man, look, just hearing the rumor for Rob Flynn, that's good to hear, frankly. I felt bad for him. He comes up to me at ZMAX in the DeWalt Carolina Nationals. And honestly, Rob isn't on camera much. I don't see many photos of him. I didn't know who I was really talking to. First time I ever met him, he comes up. He's like, hey, guys. He's like, hey, man, look, love the show and enjoy what y'all are doing. And I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. Who are you? like a dummy. And then everything transpires. But since then, him and me been able to talk. And Rob, if you're watching, hey, I hope any rumor of you being back at the track and working comes true. It would be good to see. And thank you for watching the show, man. Jeff, look, Sam, what do you got for Jeff? We'll give it to you. Give me something.
He talked about the Justin Ashey deal. I spoke about that. Is that, we talked before, is that more common where we're going to see a lot more teams go to the full-time 2 crew chief deal, and I may or may not know some stuff, like you said, Jeff. I may or may not have seen some stuff, but, I just think like you said, there's a lot of guys out there that aren't working that should be out there. I mean, I think there's a lot of knowledge still left, I guess, on the table, as most people would say, right? So, I mean, speak of that, Jeff, like, how many more teams do you think could use an extra hand or an extra body out there just for that, hey, maybe we should actually try this?
Yeah, and it's not so much maybe just trying something, but it's making sure that everything gets done properly. There's 2 different kinds of crew chiefs out there. There's a younger kind of guy that knows how to work all the gadgets on the cars. There's a lot of electronics on these things. There's, fuel management, clutch regulators, MSD timing grid. There's a lot of things that some of the older guys may not know all that well. They're not so computer literate. And some of the things are pretty tough to do. And then you have the older school guys like, Ned McCullough or whoever, that they look at the parts, or like a Paul Smith or a Jim Dunn. They look at the parts, they look at them and go, well, you can't really tune it up anymore, and the bearings are already way too wide, or this or that. So you need some people that know how to read engine parts and clutch parts, and you need people that are crew chiefs that are actually, making the tuning calls and all that kind of stuff. The more the merrier when it comes to that kind of thing. The more knowledge you have. Guys like, Tommy DeLago's been around for a long time. Rob Flynn's been around for a long time. They've seen things that work and don't work. And, if you get on the right team and they listen to your input, it can make it a better team. There's no doubt about that. And, you need the guys to work on the car, obviously, and service everything. But you also need somebody to oversee everything, making sure that all the cylinder heads are CC'd properly, all the racks are bridged properly, the clutch is in properly, the clutch stop is good, the bearing set right. And, a lot of the younger guys that work on these cars don't have the experience of some of the older guys. And, I'm well aware of quite a few teams that maybe struggled for 1, 2, 3 races, maybe longer, because the people that were working on it just didn't know exactly how it's supposed to be done. And that's where you need the, more experienced set of eyes to take a look at things and make sure everything's right. And, when you race a car and you only got, 60 minutes or 90 minutes between rounds, you basically have to have the car turn around in 30 and start it back up again. And the more people you have watching it and looking at things, the better team you're going to be, in my opinion.
Question is, Sam, when will Jeff Arend be crew chiefing a car?
Silly season news.
I don't know if I'm to that point yet, but I got a lot of good friends out there, Dell and Aaron and stuff. And, definitely for the most part, I run most of Russo's deal. I mean, Mike Smith takes care of all the motor building and things. But, if there's a team out there, some of the smaller teams, I like to think I'm fairly smart. I've seen a lot of things, and I'll definitely get you to run some 4.0s and stuff. And maybe you get into the 3s. But, as far as being a guy, a crew chiefs live and breathe this stuff. They have to be at the shop. They have to make sure everything's done right. And there's a lot of experience, a lot of time that takes place. I talked to Austin Call one time, after he kind of semi-retired or whatever. And just as I knew, he told me what I knew. But it was, his job was 24 hours a day. He'd wake up in the middle of the night thinking about something to try. It's not something you just fly in and be a crew chief. There's a lot of things behind the scenes. You got to make sure everything's right. And that's really most of the stuff on a nitro car is making sure all your parts are proper. They're measured properly. You know exactly what they are. And you can be the best crew chief in the world. And if all that stuff's not getting done, which is awful hard for one guy to oversee everything, from the clutch to the fuel management, to cylinder heads, to rack heights, to everything. That's why I need more people there. It just makes it a lot smoother if you can get everything checked to the shop. And that's why some of the bigger teams do better. They got fixtures for everything. When they put parts in, they know what they are. And that's probably the biggest detriment to a smaller team is they just don't know exactly what all their stuff is. And when you're making changes in a few thousandths of a head gasket or a degree of timing or a gram or two of clutch or, 1 or 2% on the blower, all these things make a huge difference. And if you don't know what you have to start off with, which takes a lot of skilled people and a lot of time, it just makes the whole thing super tough.
All that experience just flowing out.
Lee, like I was saying earlier, silly season news. I kind of heard rumor on the street is that Jeff Arend's going to be wheeling the car about 5-6 times this year. Don't know if you guys have heard that, but it's word on the street.
I know I haven't yet, so fill me in when you get a chance.
Hey, speaking of rumors, since we're talking about rumors, any rumor of the Russos cracking out of their Australia prison?
I speak to them. I speak to Helen now and then on Messenger, and we were talking fairly recently. It looks like things are like getting a little more lax there. So I like to see them come back out. They have a few other issues to work on, but they're talking about coming back in February and maybe getting the car ready. And it'd be fun to go to some races. As you know, Lee, Peter, Helen, and our whole team, they're just great people. We have a great time at the track. I think for what we have, we do really well. And, I still like to give them that round win, but, we're still working on a few things. But for the most part, we've got a car that can go, between 405 and 411 almost every time we take it out. And, we were parked next to Jim Head at one of the races, and they didn't have qualifying at Pomona. And he looked at me and he goes, how the hell do you take that car that, that barely ever comes out and out qualify us, and go out there and get to race on Sunday? And it's just a real testament to the whole team, to everybody. It just requires a lot of work and just doing things within your knowledge. If I knew how to run 395, I would have a long time ago. But if you kind of have a little tune-up that you've worked on that runs in the 4.0 range or whatever you can get qualified with, just put that baby in there and, start off with that and try and make a few runs and get in the show.
Yeah, definitely a cool gang there. Folks, if you don't know much about the Russos, check out my video on Monday Morning Racer, Dragging at the Fairplex. So we kind of followed them along a little bit. And Jeff, that weekend, Jeff's got a great story from teaching at Frank Hawley's drag school on that one. And you get to see the dynamic between Peter and Helen Russo. Great couple, and they love drag racing, like, all the way from Australia to come over here and do it. So, yeah, definitely want to see them back soon.
Oh, for sure.
Any more news there for us, Jeff?
Yeah, that's really about it. So, hopefully some of these things become general knowledge pretty soon. Obviously, Ron Capps leaving DSR. That's kind of a big deal, obviously, but he's going to be racing again. Maybe rumor is he's probably going to be in a Toyota. We'll see how that goes. But, you know, you can't
Hold
tell.
on. Pause. Wait a minute. Pause. Wait a minute. What? Who said that? You must have been watching last week's show.
Yeah, I probably didn't watch it last week.
All right.
Jeff, man, as always, thank you. Enjoyed it. Get back to your cigar, man.
I certainly will.
Cigar and Coors Light.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Thanks. Have a great show.
All right.
Hey,
Man.
we do have Dom in the waiting room. We're going to bring him on soon, ladies and gentlemen. Corey Roth, he chimes in. Corey, thank you for the positive feedback. Got to say, man, love the show. You guys make it fun and educational. A lot of great stories. Keep doing what you guys are doing. Awesome show. So I appreciate that, Corey. And hey, just trying to rock along and give a little bit different conversation to the drag racing world.
Lee, here we go again.
Jules, Lee, riddle me this, Batman. Look, I can't fit in no Batman suit. I'm telling you that. Heaps of Aussies are asking, what in the hell is with those sunglasses? Look, it's just so bright in the studio. Actually, it is very bright in the studio. I got to do some adjusting to the lights in this new setup. But no, I decided to put the shades on, and they've never come off at the track. You can always tell where the Monday Morning Racer is. Best shades game in town for sure.
It's bad when you're my own like co-partner, and I saw you one time without shades, and I kind of was like,
yeah.
Oh,
who's that?
Put the shades on, Lee. Lee, you need the shades.
Right.
But
it helps.
But yeah, Lee, I think we've gotten to a point where I think we've rambled on too much about absolutely nothing. We've got a star, a true star, about to come in and bless us here on the show. I think it's about that time, Lee. You ready?
It is. You know, here recently we've had a lot of champions come on the show. We have a champion in Matt Smith coming on the show later. But Dom, in his own right, should have like a championship belt for himself, a trophy, something for what he went through and what he's been able to bring himself through. And definitely looking forward to hearing his story. And beyond that, for sure, with his connection to the Capco boys. And this year, what a great year they had. So, yeah, man, let's take a break. And right after the break, Dom Lagana, we'll have him on live right here on the Competition Plus Power Hour.
In the race for quality, there is no finish line. Jerry Bickle Race Cars is a one-stop chassis shop for drag racing performance parts and race components. For over 50 years, Jerry Bickle Race Cars has been an essential part of racers' plans for building world champion race cars. Our parts department is stocked with every part a racer might need. Log on to jerrybickle.com for more information. We build anything with doors. jerrybickle.com.
Dom Lagana, welcome to the Competition Plus Power Hour.
How you guys doing?
Doing great, man.
Doing all right. Lee, go ahead. Take it away. Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, man, look. Is the only thing left on the Capco Boys team board? Like, a lot of these teams, they have that board like, okay, start team, check off. Win the first round, check off. Win race, check off. Win championship, check off. Is the last thing like win every race and championship? And that's like the last thing that needs to be checked off. Is it on the list at all?
Now, the main thing on our list is to go out and have fun and obviously try and win. And if we do win, enjoy it like it's your last one, because you never know when it's going to be the last one. Steve's obviously hit 51 career victories now, and a lot of the crew guys have been there for almost all of them, and I've been lucky enough to be a part of a lot of them. And you think you'd maybe get tired of winning, but there ain't no way you get tired of winning. There's so much work involved in that car, and it just feels so good. It's so gratifying to win it, especially with a group of guys like we have, and we all feel like we're family. We're not even friends. We're brothers, and it's just very special to share those moments, and we're blessed to have the success that we've had the past 4 or 5 years with the Torrances, and that's why we enjoy everyone. It's great.
Yeah, they won all of them. There you go.
He has to be politically correct. He heard us earlier. Okay, I've got to ask a question that I don't think anybody's probably asked, but you guys make the New York Yankee hat more famous in drag racing than Jay-Z has done across the world. I'm seriously saying this. So what is I know you guys are, big New York Yankee fans, but like, is that what it all comes from, or what is it? Because I don't think there's a race yet that I've missed where you guys have not worn the hat.
I mean, obviously me and Bob grew up in New York. We grew up in Westchester County, which is 20 minutes north of New York City. If you go on a high point in the town, you can see the George Washington Bridge from our town. So just growing up in New York, there's a lot of New York pride, and New York has great food, has the Yankees. So, we've been the Yankees. And honestly, one of the first baseball games I went to in my life was a Mets game, and then going to Yankee games when we were younger, and just big sports fans and big Yankee fans. And so obviously, me and Bob, I wear a hat more than I don't wear a hat, and same with Bob. And he wore a hat. I actually didn't wear a hat at my wedding, but Bob did, and that's normal for us. We go to banquets, we wear a hat. So we just support our teams when we're drag racing, because you're out there in front of a lot of fans, and it's cool because obviously we travel to all different parts of the country. I've been lucky enough to travel to all different parts of the world to drag race, and you never know where you'll find a Yankee fan. It'd be the last place you expect, in Australia or New Zealand. And then you also could find some people that don't like the Yankees. So it sparks some interesting conversation just by wearing a hat, And so as people support their favorite drag racing teams, we support our favorite baseball team.
Yeah, and Sam, it goes beyond just the Laganas too. Like, I know there's one individual I've regularly seen wear an Atlanta Braves cap, and
Yep.
I'm an Atlanta Braves fan. We had a great year, obviously, so woohoo to him and
Definitely.
myself. But yeah, did y'all start the trend, or did y'all notice someone else? Like, hey, let's just all wear our baseball caps.
Now, we've always kind of wore Yankee hats, and we had our team hats, even from back in the day, and just whatever hats we wore. And then just kind of the past 5, 6, 7 years, it's like, man, I'm just going to wear a Yankee hat all the time. And so Bob, my brother Bob, we actually got this thing called the Hat Club. And so he buys, like, Kale on our team is a Atlanta Braves fan. Justin, he's a Seahawks fan. Gary's a Washington Nationals fan. And so Bob just buys the guys on the team their favorite team's hats. And, the deal is, if you're in the Hat Club, you got to wear the hat during the race weekend.
I mean, I like it. Lee, we're going to have to start it. Well, Lee, you started your trend already, so.
Hey, you got to stand.
I don't know.
Hat. You need to come up with a custom, maybe a Braves hat. I mean, damn, the Braves killed everybody. That was pretty badass.
I have one. I should have pulled it out for tonight. I didn't think about you wearing a Yankees cap. I should have done that. I've got one.
No.
I do represent I do. Hey, we won. We won. Don't talk to me, San Diego.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous that the Braves won, but it was cool. I was rooting them on. That was awesome. They were August 8th or so. They said they just went above 500, and then they won the World Series. Like, that's pretty awesome.
Definitely. And they did it against the team that I think everybody wanted to see lose anyway. So there you go. And look, the
town, my lips sealed.
the town of Atlanta, it needed that. I mean, after what happened to the Falcons in the Super Bowl, Atlanta needed something.
Yeah, that was a rough one. The Falcons in that Super Bowl.
Definitely.
Yep. But yeah, that's
Roll
the hat history. And like I said, we love wearing hats. I mean, you rarely see me without my hat on, so. It's all good. Support the Yankees. I love them, and hopefully next season will be good. I can't wait till spring training starts.
No, like I said, I'm shouldn't even say I'm a big rap fan, but I'm a big music guy, and I know Jay-Z does it, but I'm like, dude, these guys have made this hat. Like, if you had a category for like NHRA, it's like, who has made this hat more famous? For sure, you guys over that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, Jay-Z always said, I made the Yankee hat more famous than the Yankees did. But
exactly.
We'll take it for sure.
I've got to ask, since we have brought up the hat, the Yankees, baseball connection to NHRA drag racing, has Daryl Gwynn or Mike Dunn commented on at all wearing the caps regularly.
Yeah, they both have, and me and Bob are actually real good friends with Darryl. We've been for a while, and he still talks to Steinbrenner every once in a while, and once in a while we'll text him if we're upset with some of the decisions that the Yankees are making. And Gwen he loves to go back and forth because I'm a Yankees fan. That was absolutely the greatest car and greatest sponsor you could ever want in drag racing. I mean, it's the New York Yankees on your dragster is, it doesn't get any better than that. Actually, I'll show you guys something.
Well, he's tearing into something.
I got it right there.
Oh, yes. Let me bring that full screen. Put that back up. Look at that.
That's sick.
Yep, that was a good one. So that's fine. I enjoy sports. I enjoy that kind of stuff, and that's the memorabilia I like. A New York Yankees top fuel car.
Hey,
that's what we need more of.
Stripes would have looked that good going down the drag.
Yeah, that's the greatest looking car. And Mike Dunn, one of the best drivers ever, and just an all around drag racer. And for him to drive, and Gwen Stein, it was a cool deal. It was we need sponsors like that back. Where it's something more that people can relate to than just a automotive product or some sort like that. But that was a cool sponsor.
I agree, and I would love to see. I know some egos would have to be put aside, no matter what the sanctioning body or sport is. But I would love to see promotions like if we're at an NHRA national event and there's a ball game not too far down the road too. Have a combo package deal, like a ticket Saturday night and a ticket Sunday, or vice versa.
Yeah, I agree,
and pair that with a car and give some giveaways and things of that nature. I think there's so much synergy that could happen.
Yep. Yeah, I think Robert he threw a first pitch out at a Dodgers game once, maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty badass.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So you gotta spark some interest in people and get them, get baseball fans to like drag racing, get drag racing fans to like baseball, and all over the board.
Right.
All right. I got this question now, since you said throwing out the first pitch. Do you think Steve would be able to throw that pitch though?
Oh yeah. Steve's obviously, as you could tell, he's very competitive, from our drag racing over the years, and Steve's an avid shooter, hunter, and he, that takes a lot of focus and a lot of, energy and everything. And stuff that Steve is challenged to or likes to excel in, he will excel in. He's going to try his hardest. And I bet you if Steve was scouted by a team, the Astros or the whoever it may be, what do you call it? I can't think of the name, but if Steve was challenged to throw first pitch, I think he'd be pretty good. Maybe they even say, "Oh man, this guy's pretty good. Maybe we want him on our roster." So, yeah, or the Rangers. Steve would definitely throw first pitch out at the Astros or Rangers game.
There you go. Yep. For sure. That would fit. Definitely.
And maybe you can get another driver to be the catcher or something like that. Who knows?
Why not? Why not? Speaking of Steve, I don't think Steve gets enough credit for being an excellent driver. Can you, from your own observation, being around the sport for so long, willing yourself, give us a description of Steve as a driver and how good he is?
He's really unbelievable. He's one of those clutch guys, and I know because I've driven at NHRA races. I made it to the final once, and the further you get in the rounds, the more pressure it is. It's harder to perform. There's more margin for a distraction in your head to cut a bad light or drive the car out of the groove or whatever it may be, drag the clutch. And Steve, like Tony Schumacher always said all the years that he dominated, he was clutch when they needed it. And he didn't let the pressure get to him. And Steve rarely lets it get to him too. And he just obviously having a really good car and a really good team, it builds confidence in you, and that makes it better to drive. But when he needs to rise occasion, he rarely doesn't, and it's awesome, and it makes all of us want to do a better job on the cars, and just because it's like, we can give this guy a car and he'll go out and win the race for us, or if it smokes tires, he'll pedal it, and it's fun. It's an all around group effort, for sure.
No, and it seems like that in every interview that he does, or any interviews I've got with him, the first thing he wants to think, well, obviously it's God. Well, Amanda did it perfect, right? It's God, his mama, and them damn Capco boys. Like, I mean, without a doubt. So, I don't think there's ever been an interview where if something's gone wrong, he's like, you know what? They did their job. I didn't do mine. It's never, well, the guys, we didn't do our job. It's like, no, they did their job. So how does that feel for you guys going into work every day and just, when the battle is on you guys, the target's on your back, you guys won, and you guys go into work, blasting music, having fun. I mean, is that just because you guys all trust each other and you guys are all on the same page, or how does that all work for you guys?
100% is trust. And Mama Kay, Billy, Steve, Natalie, and Charlie, because she's in the family, they trust us to allow us to operate, I guess, a little different, where we blast music or whatever it may be. And, they trust us with their investment and their equipment and, and honestly with Steve and Billy's safety, because they both drive the cars that we all prepare. And so that's the first thing. Without their blessing, it wouldn't be like that. And then Hogan, our crew chief, our leader, he trusts my brother and all of our guys that, he knows the car is going to be prepared right. And he knows the radio is not going to be a distraction. And then all the guys trust each other because everybody just works. And the radio's blasting. Hoagie comes out, he'll have earplugs in. And it's like, the radio motivates the guys to just do good. And that's, you need to have good guys and a good group of a good team to be able to do that. And we're very fortunate that we've had, the same core group of guys for a while now. And some of them, me and Bob have personally known for 15, 20 years. Gary, I've known since I was 5 or 6. And it's, it builds a lot of trust between everybody. And when one guy needs somebody to help him, everybody else will pick him up. Everybody just works together, and it's not. That's what we always claim, and we are truthful. We don't have titles on this team. There's somebody will mount tires, somebody will clean oil pans, somebody will do whatever. Nobody's out there to have the job title. We just want the car to be successful, and whatever it takes to make that thing go down the track and run good. That's what we'll all do, whatever it may be. Dumping the crappers in the trailer, it don't matter. You've probably never seen a bunch of guys have a smile on their face dumping crap at the end of a weekend. And we'll make fun. We'll have fun doing that, because whatever it is, we're out there. We're first and foremost, all these guys are out there earning a living. For most of them have families at home, and we're out there dedicating our lives like all these other teams are too. So you need to enjoy it. And obviously, having the success that we've had it definitely makes it easier. I'm not going to lie about that, but the way me and Bob grew up racing, the position that we're in now, man, I mean, we'd have never thought we'd be here. So you just got to enjoy every single day and every bit of it, whether it's going out winning Wallies or it's in the pit dumping the crap out of the trailer. Whatever it is, you got to enjoy it.
Well, talking about that good group of guys, Drag Racing Central wants to know, where and when did the How About Them Capco Boys thing start up? I'm sure it's a playoff of, the saying with the Cowboys, but how did it get connected into the Capco?
That's a pretty good question. It's from Steve and Billy, and, obviously they're from Texas and Texas proud, and that's their Capco Pipeliners, Capco contractors, what keeps us out here racing. And that's, Billy and Steve have worked their whole lives, and Billy started the company from the ground up, him and Kay. And so it's just kind of, How About Them Capco Boys I think it's like a little bit of How About Them Capco Boys on the team, but also How About Them Capco Boys, the pipeliners in Texas that allow, enable us to be able to drag race. So you'd have to ask Steve for sure when the first time he actually said that. I'm not 100%. I wouldn't want to say either way, because I don't know for sure, but that's the saying.
All right, and one final question about Steve, and then I think we may take this a different direction. I don't know. But what is one of, like, the quirkiest things that Steve does? Like, I mean, he's always wound up. Like, I mean, even when he's decompressed, he's still wound up. He's one of those guys. But what is one of those things where you guys are like, really, Steve? Like, you doing this again? What's one of those things about him?
I guess sometimes and Steve, we have kind of a playlist that we play in the pit. And so Steve will put on the songs, which it's all it's all really good songs and motivating music. It's all kind of genres, rock, rap, whatever it may be. And then I guess the one quirky thing, Steve, sometimes if we happen to win a race, you know, we're loading up, cleaning, and we're blasting music, and then we usually have a microphone that we can plug into the speaker. And Steve sometimes likes to go off on his karaoke binges and start singing. But it's not even quirky. It's funny, and we enjoy it, you know. But Steve gets there, he starts dancing and singing, and it's like, man, you maybe missed one of your side gigs. You could have been on American Idol or something.
Well, let's throw some cheese. Oh, take a drink.
Yep.
Take a drink.
Jeez, Lee. Everybody's drinking now because of you.
Yep. Brought to you by Bojangles. So, Dom, I remember, and I don't know how many in the comment section can say this, but you know, I actually attended IHRA national events at Red River Raceway there in Gillum, Louisiana. It's been changed now, but anyway, I can remember the Lagana name, and I think back on those days, and it seems like y'all have always been around. So, what does drag racing mean to the Lagana family, and how did it get started and going for you all?
I mean, it got started, you know, me and Bob just grew up in it. Our dad drag raced as a hobby for a lot of years, and he had one of the first nitro funny cars in the country, and obviously we've been well known for the Ram truck, and that Ram truck was around for a lot of years, till 2003. And our dad, you know, he may not have had the biggest budget. He was a self-employed mechanic, and obviously raised 4 kids. You know, we had a great upbringing, and it was awesome. And you know, being a mechanic kind of teaches you survival mode, because I don't know if anybody's worked in a mechanic shop or not, but there's most of the times where I've done it, you're under a lift, under a car, pulling a motor, whatever, and just banging your knuckles, and you're like, what the hell am I doing? This is like beating my head against a brick wall. But it also teaches you survival mode. And he took what he learned in mechanics and was passionate about drag racing, and was able to scrape by and take other guys' junk or stuff that other guys gave it to him, and just made it work. And you know, his cars never ran the quickest. They weren't on the top of the pack. They always looked good. They always had a good paint job, and they always ran to the best of the capabilities of the parts. And we drag raced with him. He showed us how to go out there for fun, to enjoy it, to enjoy the people that you meet, to enjoy being together with me and my brother or my dad. My mom would come out, our sisters would come out, and just enjoy it for all the things other than winning races and having success. And when, like, for us, a winning a race for us back then was running a good clean ET. If it was our personal career best, even if we didn't qualify, it didn't matter. It was just, you know, setting those little goals and achieving it. And that's what he showed us how to enjoy drag racing in that aspect. And you know, that's what we kind of bring to ourselves now with the Torrances. And that's why the success that we've been blessed to be a part of the past 8 years since we've been working with them, or 9 years, and that's why we enjoy it so much, because we know, you know, heck, we always say it, and there was a time where we didn't qualify for 5 or 6 years straight, and you know, we're still out there with a smile on our face and just trying hard, trying to succeed in drag racing. And now we've been fortunate enough to me and my brother making a living off of it, and this is our livelihood in our lives, and we've dedicated a lot to it and sacrificed a lot. But it's very gratifying, and I don't know any other way. I mean, I was cleaning up stuff, you know, because we recently moved, and I found a sticker and a contestant sticker from the 1985 Nationals at Reading in September. I was born in August, and I kind of remember my mom giving me this sticker, and I still have it, and saying this was your first drag race that you ever went to. And you know, I was months or 2 months old, and it was, you know, it's the best way to be brought up, and that's why we tell Steve all the time. I mean, Charlie was born in I believe March, because and then, like, look how many Wallies Charlie has. Steve and Natalie's daughter, and it's like she's not even a year old, and she is a boss. It's awesome. And but what better way to be brought up at the track? And now, you know, Mama Kay and Billy have always slept at the racetrack in their trailer motorhome, and Steve has a motorhome now, so they're at the track full time as a family and join each other. And on a different level, that's how me and Bob were with our parents. I mean, they brought the Ram truck out. If we were at Reading in a campsite, we'd pitch a tent, camp out, and cook. And but we were all together. You know what I mean? And that's what it was about. And that's why me and Bob are so lucky to be in the position that we're at. And we're definitely, drag racing is in our blood. We're too dumb to do anything else.
No, and I think, that's what it's coming more to, is a family sport, and this kind of brings it in with everything. I guess for me, you talked about family and what you guys' family was like, but what was it like for you going through what you went through, and the drag racing community, the family, everyone kind of wrapped around you and supported you? What did that, I guess, mean to you then? And like now that you're out and you're still seeing people, what does that mean to you now?
I mean, it was a huge part of my recovery in the hospital. First and foremost, without my wife, Sarah, there's zero chance that I made it through, because she was just such a rock and support with me every day. And without my brother's back and being there and visit me while he's in a championship hunt, I mean, that also, there's no way I would have survived without them too. And then Gary and all the guys on the team, they're out there racing for a championship. And once I was able to talk to them on FaceTime and stuff, and I could tell they really missed me, but they're out there doing their job and trying to make me proud, which was crazy. But, all that support just went a long way with my recovery. And then all the fans, a bunch that knew me because of our drag racing career, and a bunch that have never met me, everybody banded together and supported me so much, and supported my wife and my brother and my sisters and all of my family and friends. And that means the world to me. And I know everybody, I just literally can't thank everybody enough for all the support that they've given me. And it's huge. And it's, it's funny, not funny, but when we grew up, my dad, he was old school racer. And anytime, the old school racer thing was anytime a fellow racer or somebody in the racing family would pass away, they'd put a tape slash through their racing number. And that was like just to show support. And then from that, we always, if a friend was sick at home or somebody lost their grandparent or parent or a significant other, we would always put stickers on my dad's car. He would always get our guy to make a sticker for them. And it was like, I know it's just a sticker, but the sticker, we would make sure to send that person or that family pictures. And like, hey, look, you're obviously, you're going through a tough time, but you have a sticker, you have support. And not only us, all these other racers support you. And like in the hospital watching the races, and one of the craziest things was, I think Bob may have sent me a picture, but it was the cockpit panels on Dougie and Langdon's cars, and it had a Lagana Strong sticker. And I just, in Las Vegas at the final race, and it's like, Doug Coletta's got a sticker for me on his car. And like, it's just, and not only him, I mean, countless guys, Dale Creasy, Kyle Wurtzel, they had huge stickers on their car. Johnny Lindbergh did it on his alcohol car. And like, it's incredible the amount of support that people banded together. And I mean it really helped me heal, and it helped me to get to where I'm at right now, for sure. There's no doubt about that in my mind. And help, because as much as I was going through it, my wife, my brother, and my family was going through it as well. And it helped them too, because they, it makes you and your family feel like, I'm not just out here messing around drag racing. I did make an impact on my time so far in drag racing, and made an impact on people's lives. Because me and Bob have always tried to help people as much as we possibly could, and as much as we were capable of. And it was nice to get that response back when we were in a time of need. And I'm eternally grateful for all that support.
Dom, look, it's been great to see how far you've come along, and look forward to seeing how much further you will go, and hope there's still much more success for you along with them Capco boys, whether it's at the track or down there in Texas. Thank you for your time, for being on the Competition Plus Power Hour, man. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I don't know, I'm glad the conversation has went the way that it has, and I hope that's been refreshing for you too, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I always appreciate drag racing fans and talking about drag racing. It's my life. And I just want to say congrats to all the champs this year. Ron Capps, Matt Smith, and Greg Anderson. It's pretty cool. It's a cool group, and we're blessed to be a part of it. And you got to definitely ask Steve one day. I don't remember when the first time he said them Capco boys, but it'd be interesting to hear that.
All right, will do. And I think you guys need to get them Capco Boys New York Yankee hats. I'm gonna need one of those that says them Capco Boys on it. So
I have a hunch that it's going to be tough to get some proud Texas people to wear a Yankee hat, but and I respect it because I probably wouldn't be caught wearing an Astros hat, so it's all good.
comma. I'm a Padre fan, so it doesn't matter. We ain't been good for a while. So
Hey, you never know next year.
Oh, the year after that, maybe.
Exactly. I just count on Fernando Tatis hitting bombs, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, he definitely does.
So,
Dom, thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, Sam, look, I think that was refreshing, and what a journey he's had, and it's good to see someone still rocking along and enjoying life.
yeah, and like I said, it's all about the personalities in our sport, right? We can talk racing until we turn blue in the face, or whichever way that would go for me. But it's one of those things that it's kind of cool. Like you said, they've made their own staple for themselves, just like people say about you with your glasses, or our next guest, him with the red, or his wife with the pink. Not giving it away who our next guest is, but I think everyone already knows. But it's one of those things where everyone has to have their own personality and their own style and their own swag, and that's what it comes down to. Them Capco boys definitely have it with a big air horn, a train horn at the end of a race. Just their own swag, and I think that's what's unique about our sport is we have so many people from so many different areas, but at the end of the day, we all love one thing, and that's driving fast and taking chances.
That's right. Well, let's bring on here after the break now 5-time Pro Stock Motorcycle Champion Matt Smith to the Competition Plus Power Hour. Well, you said you were going to get it done, and you, sir, got it done. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
In the words of the good old Shannon Sharp, we got old Goat Smith on the show.
Let's see if I can turn this thing sideways. I think that's probably better for y'all, I think.
You look fine the way you are, so don't worry unless you there it went. There you go. There you go.
See, it's that championship life. He's used to, doing all these conferences and stuff like that, all these phone calls.
The media tour. Yes, the media tour. Yeah, and look, thank you for being again on the show, Matt. We had you on maybe, 2-3 weeks ago now, right before the finals there in Pomona. And, you said you're going to go get it done. You got it done. And I know I picked you to get it done. Sam, who did you pick? I don't recall at all, actually. I'm not even trying to
hey. No. I can honestly say, actually, this is the one that I got right. You can't go against your own. You cannot go against your own last name. I'm sorry. Like, that's just so wrong to do. So yeah, I got one right.
It's hard to bet against that Red Rocket. I mean, it's been fast for the last 3 or 4 years.
Definitely.
I'm letting you know right now. I'm going with the pink Rocket next year, though, Matt. I'm sorry.
I'm not painting my bike pink next year, though.
Oh,
that's fine. I'm waiting for the flying. I'm waiting for the flying hand to come in and whack.
Yeah, she's over here. We're on vacation, so that's kind of why I have just this a drape and a window here, so you might can see the bay of Tampa Bay back behind us.
Okay, cool.
Now Bobby's going to come on the show.
Oh, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, hope you all definitely enjoy Tampa Bay and recoup because, I mean, man, I'm surprised to hear you're vacationing. You've got like the work ethic up there with Greg Anderson. I mean, I just always hear you're in the shop and working toward the next endeavors for you and your team and a lot of work ahead of you. So what's on the docket, man?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of work ahead. We've got a lot of new parts on order, and I called all the people where we have all these parts on order because we're building that Suzuki, and basically everybody's telling me that it's 2 to 3 weeks for parts, and maybe 4. So it's like I told Angie, I said, hey, we have nothing to do right now but take a break. So let's go take a break. We come to Florida. We come to Florida for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. I'll call in and see some more people about parts that are supposed to be coming in. And there's no use in sitting in the shop just tearing stuff apart and sitting there twiddling our thumbs until we get parts. So we can take a break right now, and then we'll be hard at it, 24/7 when parts start showing up. So, but our main focus is, getting Gianna and Jimmy's Suzuki program up and going better, getting our stuff going up and better, Suzuki program going. And like I said, we're just waiting on parts right now. So until we get parts, there's not a whole lot I can do right now, but relax.
It's not a bad thing.
All right. So you heard that, Lee. He said Gianna's name, Suzuki. You went out and said it, so that's good. I know the press release has been said. So how do you feel about that now? Taking on, new, I don't want to call them clients, but taking on new people to your team and helping people strive for their goals. How does that feel for you?
Well, I mean, that's kind of what we've always done on this MSR team. It's always me and Angie, but we always have a third or fourth bike out there, every year. And, the last 2 or 3 years, the last 3 years, it's been Scotty Polachek full time. And, we're always willing to help people. And that's something that I love to do, is to help people achieve goals and to make new goals for themselves and become better riders. And I think Gianna was at this point that they'd been out there for 3 or 4 years, and she just kind of flatlined. I didn't see her progressing, and I think she thought she wasn't progressing in her dad. So they talked to me a little bit. We discussed some things. We waited about 3, 4, 5 races, and we talked again. And same thing, their goals were not being met. So we put a program together to try to make them better. And I really, from what I saw of them testing, them running, I oversaw their team the last 2 or 3 races they were out. I think we can really make a positive change for their program, and really looking forward to making her a better rider, getting their performance up, giving them some more power in their motor program, and in return making my Suzuki better by the same thing of doing R&D and sharing R&D with the Scrappers team and MSR, and working as 2 teams under one umbrella, and really coming out and trying to make our Suzuki bikes good. We already know that Angie's going to be good on the V-Twin next year. So, and I'm not saying I won't go back to the V-Twin, but I'm going to start with Suzuki and really push that Suzuki program of my bike, Gianna, and Jimmy Underdalls.
All right. Well, look, Drag Racing Central, he chimes in, driver of the Denso Red Rocket, and talking about paint schemes earlier. Your bike made his top 10 top paint schemes of the NHRA this year on his video. So, yeah, definitely a good-looking ride, and you matching with the leathers. And then American Hot Rod Entertainment, Darren Williams Jr., he says, when he won the championship and put her in the sand and held up 5 up to the camera, badass. So, look, talk to me about that swagger in the sand.
Well, we had just won second round, and I had just watched Eddie Krawick beat Steve Johnson. They were the first pair out. I was the second pair out. And I knew that we had the winner of the Eddie and Steve race. So when Eddie won, I sat there myself before I did my burnout, and I'm like, if I lose this round, Angel's the champ, because I know Eddie will lay down for Angel in the semis. And I said I had to put an extra emphasis on beating Angel. And I went up there and I tried to do the best I could. I made the best run that I could. That's all the bike had. She outran me 300s. I left on her 500s. And that's the way it ended up happening. And we won the round, and we won the championship. But it was funny, when I hit the brakes, they hit hard at first, and then all of a sudden went straight to the handlebar, the lever. I pumped it a couple more times. There's nothing there. Nothing there the whole time going down. I got on the rear brakes as hard as I could, but by then I was already at the sand, and I was discouraged. When I got in the sand, I was pissed at myself, but the main goal when I went in that sand was keep the bike upright. Don't lay it down. Don't tear up anything, because we didn't have a lot of extra parts there, because we were already out there for 3 weeks, racing. So I kept it upright, and I was discouraged. And you saw me looking down at the sand. I was looking down, and pissed off, and I kind of looked around, and the camera guy is up there waving his hands like this at me, right there. And I looked at him and I waved back at first. Then I just put up the big old 5 up there, and I just, I did that, and just took a moment from where I was so mad to really happy, but in return had to get back, and I burnt my feet a little bit, trying to stop. I had to take the shoes off to get on the stage to get up there and interview. But all in all, we got the bike back. We turned around. What ended up happening was the left brake pad on the brakes disintegrated. It come away from the material, the backing plate. And when that happened, I was like I was down a pad, and I didn't have no pressure there to get the pads out on the other side of the calipers.
You pulled it off nicely, sir.
Yeah, I thought the shoes off move was like, hey, I'm too hot for these, so I might as well just get these off. I thought it was I take it back to Maurice Green, one of the fastest men in the world, as I'm a track guy, when he took his shoes off and sprayed them down with the fire hydrant. I thought it was one of those moves, but hey, to each their own.
Yeah, no, they got a little warm. I was dragging that right foot, trying to get it stopped, and the left foot was on the brake, and I was just, I there's nothing else I could do. I was trying to scrub as much speed as I could off before I hit them rocks, and just didn't get it done, and went in there pretty hot.
Now, you had individually a great day, winning the championship, winning the race, and done in interesting style. Here lately, it seems like, obviously, and you should be given the credit, as a great tuner. You find power when others might not find power, even though this has been a year that was extremely competitive in pro stock motorcycle racing. So you won on a lot of hole shots. And Alan Reinhardt kind of rode that really hard from the tower, announcing that you won by several hole shots. But I think it's a huge testament to how much of a great rider you are. And it's really, with Matt Smith Racing, a complete and total package. You've got the power and you got the riding ability as well. So did you feel like on keel more at that event than normal, possibly? Were you that prepared and ready to get the job done?
Well, how to explain this. When I go up there to race, I'm normally racing myself. And that's who I'm racing. I'm racing my side of the racetrack. And, I try to do the best I can. These bikes can red light at any time. Anybody can red light at any moment because they react so quick. So we have to really work hard to slow these motorcycles down in reaction time. And the 2 previous races, I slowed mine down too much, and I messed up against Karen. She beat me at Bristol. She beat me at Vegas. I had the better bike at Vegas. She had the better bike at Bristol. And it really frustrated me at Vegas because, that now I'm losing more points because, I got beat again by her. And so when I go to this race, I'm like, all right, my goal is we got 3 qualifying passes. We got 4 rounds of elimination. I'm going for low ET of every round and turn that wind light on every round. Qualifying all of them. First 2 rounds of qualifying, I was low ET and turned the wind light on. I turned the wind light on in Q3, but Karen, the pair in front of me, or 2 pairs in front of me, went low ET of the round and stole that number 1 spot. But on Sunday, it was still my goal to be low of the round and turn that wind light on. And even if we wasn't low of the round, which we wasn't, I think Karen was low of the round 2 rounds or 3 rounds, and Angel was low of the round 1 round, and we just turned 4 wind lights on, and I got a whole shot victory over Angel by, like I said, she outrun me 300s, and Karen outrun me 500s in the finals, and we turned that wind light on. So there's days that I have bad days, but on average, I feel like that I'm, one of the top 2 or 3 riders out there, and I did my job at Pomona and won the race and won the championship. Wasn't because we had the quickest bike, but we did win both because I felt like I did my job riding.
And I think to speak about what Lee was saying on kill or on fire there, simply because you had a post after Vegas that said, we're taking off, we're staying focused, and you know, that basically you were focused on just winning this championship, and not only the championship, doing as good as you can. Do you think that time in between Vegas and Pomona, you really honed in on everything and just made sure that what needed to happen happened?
Yeah, I mean, we all know that, you know, I'm not saying that you don't have friends. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that say they're your friends, and then it never sometimes it doesn't hold up when, you know, they talk bad about you behind your back and all that stuff. The big picture is everybody hates people that win a lot. I mean, we've seen it in NASCAR, we've seen it in NHRA. I mean, it just happens, you know. I mean, and I don't win a lot. You know, we have won our fair share, but if you look at back to the days of Pro Stock Motorcycle when it was Eddie Krager or Andrew Hines winning on the Harleys all the time, everybody hated them because they always won. And, you know, I say people root for the underdogs a lot. And I was one of those people that rooted for the underdogs because I was the underdog for a long, long time. But these last 4 years, we've really stepped our program up. And with the backing of Denzo and Lucas Oil and Mark Stockseth and Greg Butcher Trucking, we have really put forth the effort to do our work in the shop, do our work over the winter, and come out strong when we get to Gainesville. And 9 times out of 10, we've had a top 3 or 4 bike at every race that we've gone to through the whole year, whether it's 16 races or it's 8 races in, you know, COVID year. So I feel very good about what we've done. And like I said, that post was intended for you. You have a lot of friends, I guess, out there, but when it comes down time to it, you don't really have no friends. Only under your umbrella, under your canopy is your friends. And that's all you care about, because we are one team, and, you know, now we're joining with another team for next year. So we got a bigger umbrella under our team next year, and, you know, I'm looking forward to it.
With mentioning under that umbrella, talked a little bit about the additions, the subtraction, though, of Scotty Polachek, at least for a year, as we understand. Talk to us about Scotty as a teammate, rider, and individual.
Man, Scotty and Susan have been a great part of our team for the last 3 years. They took 2 years off. They went to another team before that, and they were on our team 2 years before that. So Scotty's been with us for at least 5 years, maybe 6 years. I was just so glad to get him his first win over there. Not only did we give him his first win, we gave him his first win at the U.S. Nationals, the biggest race of the year, and he went 200 mile an hour. So, I mean, and then we got him a second win this year. So just doing that on our team, you just don't know how much pride I take in that, because I've won 32 of these things. My wife's won 2 of them. John Hall has been a teammate of ours. He's won 2. Now Scotty Polachek's been a teammate. He's won 2. Michael Ray's been on our team as a rider. He's won 1 with us. So I'm really fortunate to have people that come on board with us. And if you stick it out more than 1, 2, 3 years, 9 times out of 10, we'll try to get you a win, and normally it happens. It's just hard to get somebody a win when they come in the first year. I don't care how good a rider you are. A lot of times you make mistakes, or I'll make mistakes tuning or whatever, but we have really good power, and Scotty's been an awesome player on our deal. I wish him and Susan the best. I hope they build a beautiful house. I know from what I'm hearing, it's going to be a great big house and a beautiful house. And, hey, I'm all arms open when they come back and want to come back and win races and go fast, you know, whether it's a year or 2 years down the road. I wish them the best and hope that they come back.
And that's how that's what it's all about. It's supporting, you know, people. But at the beginning of the season, little controversy, I guess, here now. At the beginning of the season, you came out with a very bold statement about the Suzuki bikes and how you pretty much felt about it. Then here towards the end of the season, you came out with another pretty big statement and said, you know what, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it better than everybody else. Matt Smith has a lot of confidence. Why is that?
Well, I stated at the very first race of the year that the Suzukis had the best bike, and they did. Hands down, they had the quickest bikes out there all year long. They ran the fastest ETs all year long. and they went 202 mile an hour. And there was I think there was 3 Suzukis that went over 200 mile an hour this year. So in the grand scheme of things, they had the best package. Now, what I can say is they didn't have the total package. They didn't have the right riders and the right tune-ups with the best bike. They might have at some races, but they just didn't do it for the whole season. All right. We did that for the whole season. We didn't have the best bike, but we had a great bike, and we had the fastest bike all year long. And with the tuning and the riding, we put everything together, and we got it done. Now, you look at the countdown, Suzuki's won 4 of the 6 races in the countdown. I won the other 2 on the V-twin. So that just shows you how competitive that Suzuki is. And that's the 150% reason why I'm building one. And I know a lot of people are mad. I think it was a week after the championship, NHRA slapped 20 pounds or 20 pounds or 10 pounds on the Suzukis. And everybody's like, well, I don't understand this. Matt won the race and he won the championship. Why are we penalizing Suzukis? Well, they did that because Suzukis have such a big advantage. They're going to gain more advantage over the winner. And I'm not mad about it because I'm still building one. And I think when it's all said and done, they're going to get another 10 or 15 pounds put on them, before we get to the 4th or 5th race of the year. And then we'll see it. It'll probably be pretty even by then. But I'm still building a Suzuki, and I'm gonna make it go fast, and I want to show everybody how fast those things can go. And people's already shown at times it went 72, it went 202. I mean, if you do that consistently all the time, you're going to learn more and more and more where you go consistently fast and consistently quicker. And it would not surprise me to see a Suzuki in the 660s next year. Pretty easy.
Well, if there's anyone out there that can find the speed and find it consistently, definitely Matt Smith can get it done. So, Matt, obviously riding. I know you've done some pro mod things, and I know you're even hop on the iRacing rig every now and then. And you've been known to participate in a skid plate race at Bowman Gray. Did you win that one, by the way? I can't remember if you won it or did you just race in it? How did you do? I don't remember.
I won 2 of the 4 skid plate races that I ever ran at Bowman Gray.
Okay, great. So set that up right there. He's got experience on one of the most challenging oval conditions there is, period. SRX, Tony Stewart's platform of all of these great drivers getting together and racing, announced that this coming year, 2022, for their season, there might be an all NHRA team. So what about a 5-time pro stock motorcycle champion representing NHRA behind the wheel? What do you think of that?
I would love to do it. I mean, my brother-in-law did it last year, Scott Speed. He raced in the SRX at 1 or 2 of the races last year for Tony in that deal. And I've driven a modified car at Bowman Gray quite a few times. So I am all up for the challenge. I would love to do it. And I've seen Tony a couple of times at the races, and he said hey to me. I mean, even shocked me. He even knew who my name was. So, I mean, when somebody that big knows who you are, I mean, it's pretty awesome. And, like I said, I would love to be part of that talk about doing that.
Well, Sam, I just had to get that out there because I know everybody wants to mention Ron, which is true. They want to mention Cruz, which is true. And they want to mention Austin, which is true. But don't forget about this man off of 2 wheels behind 4 and even just, turning left the whole time. Yeah,
well, I mean, I raced Cruz and Ron and a bunch of these guys in the go-kart races every time that anything's ever put up by NHRA or whatever. And I kind of hold my own against all them guys too. So, I mean, I'm willing to go do that and see where the cars stack up. And if it's a team or they do an all race for just the NHRA guys, I would love to do it. Battle all those guys.
Well, that'd be cool. That'd be SRX just NHRA. That'd be interesting. I wish they throw some slicks on those cars, big rear slicks, and put them out of the drag strip once. Hopefully Tony is contemplating that with his foray into drag racing.
We also got to bring this up, Matt. The DTBB, formerly known as driving that bitch back, drove that bitch back. or whatever you want to say. Don't want to say it anymore because don't want to get demonetized, right, Lee? But known for Erica Enders doing that, but you decided, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do it. What was that moment like for you, or that I shouldn't say moment, those minutes like for you riding the bike back?
Well, I will state one thing here, that in 07, when I won my first championship, my dad cranked the bike up and drove it back in 07. And he's probably the first person that did that in this modern era. So I know my dad did it first. He jumped on my bike and he's like, crank this thing up. I'm like, you don't know how to ride this thing. He said, you crank it up, I'll get it back to the pits. I said, well, just don't shift the transmission because it will tear it up. Our transmissions, either you're in the first or you're in last gear. Any gear in between that, it'll tear them up anytime you let off the throttle. So I just told him, I said, just leave it in first and I'll let on back. And that's what he did. So in 07, my dad did it first. This year, we did it just because, Erica does it. I saw, Lyle did it, a couple times. The last 2 races he won. And I decided I want to do it. We just put a little twist on it at the very end. And a lot of you people can write NHRA a little letter and tell them that they don't need to do this to us, because we got penalized for driving it back and doing, if anybody sees the video, we didn't even do hardly a burnout. We did a small little burnout. Didn't even hardly do any smoke. And I got fined for it.
The glasses have officially come off for the first time ever on the Power Hour. I'm screaming pause right now. Can you repeat what you just said? You guys got what?
Yep. I will not say the fine of the amount of money, which is, to me, it's quite a bit for an NHRA Pro Stock motorcycle, being that we're not running for full purses in NHRA right now. And our championship points fund got cut in half from where it normally was with Meliella. And yet they fined me quite a bit of money because I did a slight burnout with 3 people around, which was me on the bike, my wife, and my crew guy. And that's it. As you can see in the burnout, there was nobody behind us. There was nobody in our pits, nobody around. And I got a letter and I got fined for it. And until I pay that fine, I cannot race another race until I get fined. I pay the fine. And to me, that's pretty sad, in my opinion.
Well, after this, I think you need to, I'll message you guys on Facebook, because I'll donate to that fine cause, because that's some drive that bitch back bullshit. And I'm just going to say it just like that. Sorry, Bobby Bennett, but no. Are you that?
Yeah, maybe.
You know what?
Maybe one of my good fans will start a GoFundMe page, and we'll get enough money up to pay that fine by all our fans, and that way we'll just put it right back in NHRA, because obviously they need the money pretty bad to do something like that, because I wasn't out there hurting anybody, and I think to do that was pretty. It just shouldn't have been done. They should have. Hey, slap me on the wrist. Don't do that no more.
Right? Where's your okay?
Yeah. No warning ticket. No warning. So.
No, and this is no offense to the bikes, but if I can whack the throttle 5-10 times, shift it into neutral, whack the throttle, whatever, there's more chance of something happening in that high horsepower car.
Yeah.
Mute. I'm going on mute, guys. I'm going on mute.
Even when they had that, Dale Worsham, which was awesome, that margarita, the nitro margarita thing, when they wrapped that thing and did all that thing with all the people around us, something would have blew up or something stupid like that. I mean, it hurt a lot of people around that. I never saw them get fined or whatever for doing something like that. I was just really shocked when I got that letter. And, like I said, I'm not going to say the amount, but maybe if we want to start a GoFundMe page, somebody will, and I'll donate to that. If it's just pretty cowardly, I think, but it is what it is.
It would have been at least a good courtesy to say, champ, here's a warning. You got away with that one. And move on. I didn't know about this. Did it come out in a story at all, or is this?
No, it's private. It went to. I mean, since you were saying what you were saying about the drive it back and all that, because I was actually up when we got done taking the winter circle pictures and we cranked it up. There was still a bunch of fans up there hooting and hollering and all this, and they were like, "Do a burnout!" And one of the NHRA guys there says, "Hey, don't do it up here. You cannot do it up here." I said, "All right." So we drove it back, and that's why we did a little one at our pit, just for on camera. We were live on Facebook, and we did it for that. And the other reason we did it, and I hate to bring this up, but my wife, her father was a big part of our race team, and he lost his life last Tuesday to cancer. And he loved us doing burnouts. Every time we would scuff tires in at the shop and he knew about it, he was there to watch us do it because he loved watching burnouts and all that stuff. He rode motorcycles his whole life. And Godspeed, Ronnie McBride. We love you. We miss you. But we did that burnout for you because we knew that you were on your last couple of weeks, and we knew you wanted to see a little burnout, and you was on there watching, and we did it. So, if we had to pay for that, we pay for it. But, that's another of the reasons why we did it, was just for him, and, at least he got to see it.
Well, there's 2022.
Yeah.
The year of the silly season. I'm not checking the mail after this after this podcast. It might not be the email or news that we want, Lee, but sorry, Bobby, not really. But
yeah, we don't get the mail. We don't get the mail. So
you don't get emails?
No, I do get those, and trust me, I have even got an NHRA email. So I know. Don't worry, they know who's shaded out there in the pits for sure. I've got I've got mine.
Oh, I got mine too.
Oh man, geez, you just see Matt now. Lee is going to be in his feelings for the rest of the show. We brought up a sore subject from getting those emails, I guess.
Hell, it's all right. We all get them at some point in our life, and we got to just live and learn,
That's right. That's right. Live and learn. Well, either way, you're still 5-time NHRA Pro Stock motorcycle champion. And I mean, man, I asked earlier about people, recognize, hey, Matt makes great power, but hey, we need to recognize Matt as a great rider too. When we talk about like the greatest of all time in drag racing, do you think the riders get overlooked compared to those in four wheels, whatever configuration that is?
Absolutely. I mean, our class gets overlooked a lot, I mean, in my opinion, and maybe you talk to Antron Brown next time you have him on and all that, but in my opinion, I think the motorcycle riding of the 4 pro categories is the hardest to ride and to make perfect. I know everybody might argue this or that, but top fuel car, you kind of just stab the throttle and you drive it. You just hold it straight. Same thing for a funny car. Funny car, you got to finesse a little bit more, a little shorter wheelbase. Pro stock car, you got to let the clutch out, you got to drive it, and you got to hit shift points on time. But on our thing, you got to let the clutch out, you got to hit your shift points perfect, and to make it go straight, you got to hang off a bike. And when you're hanging off a bike at 150 to 200 mile an hour to try to keep that in your lane, it becomes pretty hard. I think that's why a lot of times you'll see the bike guys hit cones or go across center line, because sometimes it takes off. And when you have this little small tire like we got on the front of our bikes, and we hit one of these 2-inch or 3-inch gaps that's in some of these racetracks that we race on, it just darts the bike or takes it one way or the other, and it's a handful. And like I said, I've drove a Pro Mod car, and a Pro Mod car is way easier to drive than a Pro Stock motorcycle. All right, I've never drove a Pro Stock car, but I'm pretty sure it's on the same line as a Pro Mod car. All right, but Antron's drove both, and I've actually heard Antron say that the motorcycle is the hardest to drive of what he's done from top fuel to Pro Stock motorcycle. So I just think it's the hardest thing to drive, and I feel like I'm probably one of the top. I'd say I'm one of the top 5 all time of riding a Pro Stock motorcycle, I think. And if I'm not, I've got to be close to it, but I feel like I'm in that top 5 range.
I mean, I think performance for sure has proven it, like Lee said and mentioned, a couple of times here on the show, not just your ability to tune the cars, but ability to find the horsepower, the ability to drive. I can honestly tell you, Lee's talked about getting on a bike. I would never do it. I watched my brother flip a Hayabusa. That was enough for me. I couldn't imagine. No, just no. I commend you guys for what you guys and girls do on these bikes, but like Lee said, I honestly think you guys do get overlooked simply because everyone's like, well, it's something different. Everyone doesn't understand, the technicalities that goes into riding the bike. And I think we as media should probably do a little bit more of going into it and talking to you guys about it. So I guess since we're talking about that, what is the hardest part about being on one of those bikes, like the most challenging that people don't understand? And what do you think the part is that everyone overlooks about that bike?
I think the hardest part that most people look at, and like I said, I have a lot of new riders come through our thing, and it seems like the number one thing that most riders don't do is they don't hit their shift points. And we have a shift light on the bike, and I'd say 8 of 10 people that come into our Pro Stock motorcycle, they've ridden other bikes before and all this stuff, but they go to these other sanctioned bodies and Pro Mod bikes, from funny bikes to Pro Street bikes, the ones with no wheelie bars. I'd say 95% of them, they use auto shift. So they get used to going fast, and yeah, they go fast and they can let the clutch out and they can hold it wide open and they can go down the track, but they don't shift it. They just let it shift itself. And over in NHRA, we have air over air. So you have to be able to shift the bike yourself. And I see that's the biggest thing that I see when people come over to ride our stuff is they can't the shift light. And I'm like, guys, the light comes on, hit the button. And they go, well, it's harder than it looks. And I'm like, no, it's not. You hit the light. Well, what RPM? I said, you hit the light and I'll adjust it to where I want you shifting. But when one time they're at 9,000, next time they're at 10.5, and it's like, you're not seeing the light, you're not doing it. And that's something that I have to work on every new person that comes into our team. And I think that's probably the most critical thing on the bike. Some people don't ram when we leave. I sit more straight up on the bike instead of in the tuck position. So as soon as I drop the clutch, I throw my whole upper body weight forward, and it makes it think the bike's got 25, 30 more pounds on the front of the bike. So it's just riding style and all that. But the number one thing is shifting the bike. If you can shift the bike and stay tucked, you'll go pretty fast.
So on the continuing vein of exposure, not enough exposure, just about everything out there in the NHRA has got something representing it in a sportsman class: alcohol funny car, alcohol dragster, super calm, super stock. I don't think I've ever seen a sportsman motorcycle class in the NHRA at an NHRA national event. Why is that? Or have I just missed it? I've never seen it.
No, you won't see it. I think the divisions, division tracks, every division has its own motorcycle class, sportsman motorcycle class. But, there's no use in having a bracket motorcycle class at an NHRA track. because, really to make yourself go to the next level, like top alcohol funny car and top alcohol dragster, those are heads up classes. All right. That's a stepping stone to, top fuel and funny car. Pro stock car, I guess you got the co-pros, now is kind of the stepping stone, I guess, what you call it. It's all out. It's even pro stock car, they don't have a stepping stone in essence, unless you call the co-pros. But the bikes, I mean, you got to be able to do it. I mean, and there used to be a school out there. George Bryce used to have a school, and Frank Hawley with that deal, and they would teach people how to ride these motorcycles, and that's no longer there. And that was something that I wanted to put together and try doing, in the future. But I've just got so much going on that I can't do that right now. I'd have to buy a couple bikes and a bunch of motors and spend a lot of time testing. And eventually, maybe when I get closer to retiring, I might do that. I might try to help people do that and have schools and all that stuff. But, right now you've got to go rent a bike, or you've got to go get your license on another kind of bike and then go rent a bike. And there's a bunch of people that do that. I'm not the only team that does it, but that's just how we've tried to help people over the years to get into sport without having to come and buy. If somebody come right in our sport to go pro stock motorcycle racing, first off, they got to go buy a truck and trailer, motorcycle, 2 or 3 motors, and they're going to spend, $200,000-$300,000 right off the bat just to get started. And that's not even going to have top-notch stuff. That's just going to be the bottom line. Hopefully there's, not 16 bikes to where you can qualify. If you got 16, 20 bikes, you're probably not qualifying. So that's why I offer what I've offered over the last 4, 5, 7 years of rental stuff. And, this is the first year that we're not going to have that. And that the main reason is because we're bringing Jimmy and Gianna onto our deal to really focus and help them get their team up and running for the future.
Well, Matt, always enlightening to have you on the show, and pulling the veil back for us, live tonight on NHRA, lowering the boom and opening up and giving us your thoughts on everything. I know you were probably expecting a more in-depth championship talk, but you've done that a lot already on so many other shows, and thank you for your time on those other shows. Thank you for your time tonight. I do want to give you the floor right now, though, and on that championship, your 5th championship, just give you an opportunity to say thank you to sponsors, supporters, family, friends, whoever you might want to say thank you to.
Yeah, first off, I just want to say congratulations to Steve Torrance on his 4th championship, Ron Capps on his 2nd championship, Greg Anderson on his 5th championship, and Denzo, Mama Lisa, I call her. I could not do this without you. Me and Angie, we could not do this without you. So hats off to Denzo, Lucas Oil, Brandon Bernstein, Tom Brogner. Thank y'all for helping us, continue your support with us. Mark Stockseth has been with me since I started my deal in 2007. And without Mark and Marshall out here helping me with my program, I could not compete out here like we are. Greg Butcher Trucking, I mean, they've stepped up the last 3 years and helped us tremendously. You've got CP Pistons, CP Corilla, Dave Conforti, Worldwide Barons, BMRS, S&S Motors. It used to be Daytona Sensors, but it's now called Gym Sensors. The WeGo, the air fuel systems that we use is amazing. Steve Nichols helps me so much with ECU training and all that to help me do stuff. And we're trying to work on getting max ECUs out here for our bikes and getting them running. So that's our next platform. Vanson Leathers. And, hey, Bobby Bennett, thank you for the video you did on me. That was really cool. Angie showed it to me the other day, and then I watched it again. I mean, it was an amazing piece. And, man, y'all do an awesome job on this show. And just, to have y'all doing this and Competition Plus out here for the media stuff is pretty amazing. And want to say happy birthday to our PR girl today, Sadie Glenn. It's her birthday. So if everybody, if you know Sadie, blow her phone up tonight and wish her happy birthday. Get her out of bed.
Yes, yes. Oh man. Well, Matt, again, thank you for your time, man. Always very enlightening, and enjoy the vacay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Matt, she's probably still cleaning off her camera or her phone from all the champagne that you poured on it. So
Yeah, we had to get her. It was last race, so we had to get her.
Yep. Well, again, like Lee said, congratulations from us here. Thank you for the kind words and enjoy vacation.
All right. Thank y'all.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Always
Matt
great.
Smith.
Yeah, always great talking to him. And like you said, that's a lot of knowledge. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't know going back to 07. I mean, I was still in high school then, but going back then, I wish he would have done the Ricky Smith impersonation there. But good old Ricky driving the bike back. I mean, could only imagine. I got this. You know, I know what I'm doing. Good old Ricky Smith, right?
Right. I drove a pro bike from wall to wall.
Exactly. I could only imagine what that conversation was like about him telling him, "Hey, Dad, don't shift."
Right.
But that's what it's all about, man. I can't believe. You know what? I think, like you said, if someone hasn't done it already, maybe you or I or something, we need to start a GoFundMe, because I mean, Smiths are awesome. We are awesome people. I agree. The Smiths, it's got to be something about the last name. I mean, we can't choose all of the Smiths in life, but Smith people are great people.
Sam, that's for
What's
Matt
my last
and
name?
Angie Smith.
No, he's talking about Will. He's talking about Jada. He's talking about Emmett. You know, all the great Smiths in life.
Now, Emmett's the GOAT.
Yeah, and so is Slam and Sam Smith, the triple X.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
No.
I'm telling you.
Wow, what a, so to everyone out there, let me give you some insider perspective on at least my thoughts on the show. And I think Sam agrees with me. We don't always get people. Yeah, I know. We don't always get these people first. A lot of times they, in the case of these champions, they've already kind of done the media tour. And in the case of like Dom tonight, I think there's been certain tracks that have been rode, and it's like, let's have a different conversation. And I really think we were able to do that tonight and have a different conversation. So thank you all for watching. And I think we had a great show tonight, Sam.
Yeah, no, we definitely, like you said, I mean, there's those generic questions that we could ask Matt Smith. You know, what's it like to be the 5-time champion? What's it like to hoist that trophy over your head again? You know, what does this one mean to you from the first one? I mean, damn it, it's a win.
We were told
all the
never to ask that question, though.
Yes, and I think the answer was because. What do you mean? What does it mean to me? At this moment, this win means the most to me. I'm not worried about what tomorrow is. I'm worried about right now. And right now, that's the best win. So, and someone said it was a pretty good show until the glasses came off. Wow. Yes. But that just shows what kind of show this is, right, Lee? Like, no one knew this. I had no idea that driving that bike back.
I didn't realize that happened. I did not know. And you went and asked that question, and it wasn't a question I thought about. And he went down that road and revealed that. And honestly, some people learn. A lot of people. Do you ever take the glasses off? During a show or anything? I take my glasses off for emotional moments, whether positive or negative, and you can see that throughout my video editing style since I started wearing them, because I think there's been some dumb moments where it's just like, what? And then there's been other moments like, I salute you, sir, and those type of things. But it's just to add a little bit of emphasis on camera. But man, wow, why not a warning in that situation? I get it. It is in the rule book. But why not just have a warning in that situation and scenario and just be like, chill it?
No, I think that comment about the rule book was talking about, because if you look at the next comment, it was talking about the blender. That was talking about the blender. But either way it goes. I don't care, to be honest with you. Our sport has to evolve. I get it for the safety and everything like that. But
hey, what about this?
I don't know.
If it can't happen in the pits, and we've got this phenomena of driving the car back, which could have been argued could have been dangerous in its own right.
Yeah.
How about we have a driver's burnout celebration area, and we get another little part of the show after the show?
I mean, yeah. But, okay, I'm going to pose this or give you this idea. Driving that B back is no different than you popping in my eyes, you popping the champagne bottle. You know what I mean? And then it's no different than you're like, and this is no shot at Steve, but when Steve comes out and he's, on the track in Vegas, this is the one that I remember the most. He gets the win and he's stopped on the track. He's out of the car, kind of sitting, above his halo, and he's shooting, he's shooting the cap. He's shooting the caps right there. What if something goes wrong at that moment? You know what I mean? And this is no shot at anyone, but he's on the racing surface. Say the other car they were trying to fire it up or something like that. I mean, granted, it probably doesn't happen, but that car comes down and he's out of the car and he's on the racing surface. There's so many ifs. My thing is, at that point, we've got to we always say we want to see emotion, right? It's the last race of the year. The man won the race and a championship. And we're mad about this? In a segment I would like to invent, it's called Questions That Need Answers. And that one, my friend, needs an answer. And I think that's something maybe for next year that we might do. We might take a random moment, like the come on man moment, and it might be questions this week's question that needs an answer. And I'll wear a tie and answer that question for you guys. But questions that need answers.
Look, it has come a long way, man. I mean, I remember there's so many little elements of the show that I think could be brought back. I remember stumbling across a photo that my dad had taken at, I don't know, like the Cajun Nationals in '85 or something. And I did a double take because it's a pro stock car. It's actually two pro stock cars going up the dragway the wrong way. And then I found another picture right after that, and there was more than just two pro stock cars on the drag strip going the wrong way. Well, apparently at one time, they used to parade the pro stock cars before they raced them, before eliminations. So you would see the field of 16 cars in their matchups coming down the drag strip before eliminations. And I'm like, man, that would be so cool to see today, and start off the show and even bring some more exposure to pro stock. Why not bring something like that back? I mean, it just fascinates me that even though we don't know the number, it seems like the way Matt was emphasizing, it was a hefty number on the fine. And it's just interesting that there wasn't a warning, maybe a stern warning, maybe a very stern letter. But a hefty fine. Oh man, it is disappointing. It's disappointing.
Man. So questions that needs answers, Lee. Could they penalize him and give him negative points to start the year?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
It's silly season, right?
Oh man.
I'm just saying. I mean, we do it in hockey, right? If this is the last race of the year and the coach gets ejected out of the game and he gets a suspension, right? And he's got to serve his suspension. he doesn't get to rest and he doesn't get to coach in the first game of the year, right? You still have to serve your suspension. So is it, hey, you either pay the fine and you can't race till you do that, or you start negative points? I don't know if they can do that. I'm just saying, questions that need answers.
No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Dragster Jeff Kreider says, this is not your father's NHRA. That is true. But there are some things in the past that could still be brought in the future and make the sport progress that much further in what is nonetheless entertainment. And there are things that I'm glad they don't do from the past. Yeah,
I like this comment.
Don't give them any ideas.
Hey, telling you, check. You know, Lee. We'll talk about the silly season later. But I think now we have what we need. Questions that need answers.
Questions that need answer. I know this. You're gonna have a whole lot of fun over at Funny Car Chaos, which, by the way, has a stacked schedule for 2022. 11 total races under the Chaos brand, including a exhibition race for Funny Car Chaos at Cordova Dragway and 2 Nitro Chaos events. So yeah, if you want to, have fun at the drag strip, check out some Chaos, guys.
Man, the Chaos, what he is doing is phenomenal, and everybody loves it. Those races are packed, and they're jam-packed with excitement, with cars, and just everything else. He honestly, that group is doing a phenomenal job, and I'm excited to see what else is coming out of there. So, yeah, man. Wow. Like I said, I'm still kind of in awe about this whole fine thing. But, like I said, both of our guests tonight, we kind of took a toll down a different road with them. And I think that was great to see. Pull up the card again here. Had Jeff Arendon that had some great insight information as our pit insider, bringing on Dom and just talking about the different things he's experienced this year and with the Capco boys and what that family, like you said, it's not a team, it's a family, what they've gone through. And then having Mr. 5-time himself, Mr. I've got the confidence and I'm going to say what I mean and mean what I say. Having him on, always good, always knowledgeable, but yeah, I mean, it's great to see. Ooh, who is going to, so Lee, do I have to pick a winner? Or can I pick the Honestly, I'm just going to say this. You guys can say what you want. I'm going with the homeboy, Mr. And this team needs to, this company needs to get on board with him for the 2020 race season. But Mr. Yingling himself, Mr. American Burnout himself, Lyle Barnett, takes the money.
That's right. I think that's a good pick. He's on a roll. It's hot. But
runner up, Stevie Fast Jackson.
But there are there's a whole different group of players that come to this race. The Snowbirds really act and function as, I think, especially in its 50th year now, who's on top, who's like, one off, who's on top in Pro Mod. You can kind of carry bragging rights for the rest of the year, all the way back to the next Snowbirds. Man, I think it's going to be a nitrous car. I think it's going to be Jim Halsey.
I like that. He did phenomenal this year too, and then this one right here. That's the thing. Like, not headache, but like just thinking about it. You can't count Stevie out no matter what. You can't count Jim Halsey out no matter what. And the performance that Lyle has had this year is just one of those where it's like, I don't know.
And Pro Mod, the nature of Pro Mod if you make the field, you got a chance to win.
Yeah.
You've got a chance to win.
I mean, anything can happen.
Seen it in PDRA, seen it in NHRA, Midwest Drag Racing Series, whatever it is. If you make the field, you got a chance.
Yep. No, well, I mean, it's going to be a great show to watch.
Definitely. It will be a great show to watch. Looking forward to seeing that all play out and who will be the winner. Hey, you never know. Maybe we'll have the winner of the Snowbird Nationals on at some point. That'd be cool.
Be a great show.
Definitely would. Just like tonight. Sam, as always, pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, you all watching, thank you for watching. Please, on your way out, hit that like button for us and be sure to join in right here on Competition Plus on Facebook, Twitter, or the YouTube channel next Tuesday at 9 p.m. for the Competition Plus Power Hour. Sam, close her down, man.
That's right. Thanks again to Bobby Bennett, to Jeff Aran, to Don Lagana, and to Matt Smith. If you guys haven't already, please go over and hit like on all their Facebook pages. Show them love, especially Matt Smith. I'm pretty sure we will see a GoFundMe account popping up somewhere soon for that. To everyone else that's out there, please go over to the Competition Plus YouTube channel. Hit subscribe there. Monday Morning Racer, hit subscribe there. And Outlaw Performance ENT. All those are on YouTube. Please like Monday Morning Racers Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can like me, Slam and Sam, Outlaw Performance, please, so you can stay up with all of our content, everything. If you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, email us powerhourcp@gmail.com. That's right. We didn't say it. Happy holidays to all you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed your Turkey Day. And finally, now your Christmas ornaments are going up because you have to do that after Thanksgiving, not before. Personal preference. He's looking at me like I'm crazy in there. But to you guys, keep driving fast, keep taking chances, and don't forget, tune in next Tuesday to the Competition Plus Power Hour where you can believe what you read and hear out of our crazy mouths. Till next time, y'all, keep smashing that loud pedal. God bless. Peace.